Ooh, forgot to test my mic beforehand, so I'm very sorry for all that. If you're paying attention, multi-streaming. Alright, looks like we are live on... We're about to be live. We are about to be live on Facebook, on Twitch. Let's go. Trying to get these in there before my minute starts. 1 minute mark. Boop. Then I should be live. Come on. We go. I've been live. Oh, we've got some exciting stuff tonight. We'll be trying a new painting technique with brand new paints. With brand new miniatures. Live from Spring, Texas. Oh, I am so excited. You could even say I'm egg-cited. Oh my gosh, I'm a funny bunny. Oh baby. When I tell you that I have been waiting for months, almost a full year for this. I am not even kidding. That was not my stream. That was me. I'm so full of excitement. I'm all set up. I'm raring to go. I hope you're ready too. Because man, this is it. This is the stream to watch. This is the one where everything goes fantastic. I get to show you all the cool stuff that I've found that's come in that I'll probably be painting for the next few months, and I will definitely be playing on stream because this is the first Kickstarter that I've ever been able to go all in on. My wife agreed to letting me go all in on it because one, I love the game. Two, it's by the board game's done by Steam Ford Miniatures, so I'm very excited to be showing off these today. I'm only going to be showing off one, so as I paint more, I'll show off the rest of them. But I think that everybody's going to love these miniatures. Hopefully you like how I paint them. Again, I will be trying a new technique with new paints on new miniatures. We're going to talk a little bit about the board game and the video game that it was inspired by, and how this coincides with our first 24-hour charity stream coming up at the end of May for Memorial Day. We're going to give just a few more minutes, or just about a minute, for some of my other friends and family to pop in. Some fellow viewers, so we can chat it up together. Yeah, I started a little bit early today because I know that this is going to take me a little bit longer to get through this miniature. I'm very, very excited to paint it today. Oh, I've been waiting. Oh, I've been waiting well over a year for this. one of the main reasons I'm frustrated with Kickstarters. I want my game and I want it now. All right, nerd fam, here we go. Ta-da! Hey, everybody out there in the social medias. I am live. I think I heard one of my kids get up, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm live today, coming to you from Spring, Texas. I will be showing off the new Monster Hunter World, the board game. This game is filled with giant monsters that you and your friends are supposed to hunt for. Hey Isaac, thanks for liking the stream. You're supposed to hunt for food. You're supposed to hunt for supplies, armor, and weapons. I say that this game changed my life. I am absolutely telling you the truth. I never wanted to play the Monster Hunter series before, but when Monster Hunter World dropped, it was right before my first child was born, and I just deep dived into it, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours playing the game, farming supplies for different suits of armor, farming supplies for different weapons, making traps, doing all the different challenges for the monsters, trying to get the monsters caught certain ways, and it just wound up being a really, really fun game for me to play and just relax. Like it was grinding, and that's what I needed at the time, was to just put my head down and hunt a monster, next hunt a monster, hit next hunt a monster, next hunt a monster. So I'm going to show you what the core box looks like, and it is not a small box. Put it next to my head. It's thick. It's filled with Camp Comp monster hunting goodness. Craig and Megan, thanks for watching. The game itself is broken down into two different core sets. So you have the first core set, which I'm painting out of today, called the Ancient Forest, and then the other one is the Waste. And then when I did the Kickstarter, I did the all-in option, which gave me the two core sets, plus extra monsters, plus extra hunters, plus the Kickstarter limited edition monster, and a Kickstarter limited edition Poogie. Like, you got a little Poogie model. Poogie's been the Monster Hunter mascot since the inception of the game. But it's a great video game. I have yet to play the board game just yet. Jeremy Hobbit, thanks for watching. Oh, here we go. Somebody on Twitch, Botaiko, says that it's an amazing video game and that he can't wait to receive his copy of the board game. So they did something really funky in that they had some production issues with the board game, and so like Europe and some in Asia and other places across the Atlantic, they're getting their copies of the board game. But US people, the US backers, got broken up into different like categories, and so if you did the all-in, but only the all-in, there was a 50-50 chance that you were going to get it. So I did it. Brother Brett, who has donated a lot of stuff for the stream, miniatures, RPGs and things like that, Brother Brett also backed the Monster Hunter for the cool minis. I don't know if he's played the video game or he knows any of the lore, but he backed it as well, and we literally live 10-15 minutes away from each other. And he has not received his. He has not received an email saying that he's getting his in. So it was completely random, 50-50, to see who was going to get theirs, who was not. Now, I was one of the original backers. Like, as soon as they opened up that Kickstarter, I jumped in, put in for the all-in. I knew that I wanted it, because I genuinely enjoy the Monster Hunter World video game. It's just so much fun. It's a great way to just sit down, relax, and play games with your friends. You can get people together. You can play by yourself. You know, it's not one of those games where you have to have a bunch of other people, because you can do just the low tier grinding to get extra stuff that you need for making specific weapons or traps and things like that. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. Today on the stream, we will be painting one of the monsters, one of the smallest monster, I believe, from the core set, the Great Jargus. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what he looks like. Bloop. Now they come gray. I've already primed him, right? I'm obviously not going to prime him and wait for him to. But you can see how big my hand is, and he fits in the palm of my hand. This is the smallest model that comes in the game, the Jargus, the Great Jargus, in the base game, the core set. Switch camera modes real quick. So, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm painting these brand new models. I'm using a new painting technique called the Slapchop method. And I'll be using some brand new paints. While I was out in my local area, we have a local game store called Etten Games and Hobbies. There was a vendor there, Crystallarium, who makes his own paints. So, you know, I like Pro Acryl by Monument Hobbies. I'm a huge fan of Army Painter. I do have a few Citadel paints, and it's not beyond me to try something new to see if it's better, to see how it works. So I thought, why not give it a shot on the stream so everybody else can see for themselves if they like it or not. Bloop. A little bit of contrast there. But I bought two colors from him. Originally, I was just going to be using these to paint my Seraphon Lizardmen from Warcry. But they are the perfect colors for painting this Great Jargus. So if they look good on this Great Jargus, I'll be going back to him for some more, because these particular paints act like the Citadel contrast paints. So I'm very excited to see how these come out. But today I will be demonstrating the Slapchop method of painting a miniature, which after hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of watching online tutorials, I was like, man, I could definitely do the Slapchop method. It's very simple, very easy, takes very little time. All you have to do is prime your model black, get a very light gray. So we'll be using the Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl Bright Warm Gray, exactly what they asked for. This is my palette. I'll just be using a generic dry brush. Very stiff. For those of you who aren't familiar with brushes or brushing techniques or painting, you just want to get a nice stiff brush, load it up with a little bit of paint. Get as much of that paint off as you can without losing all of it. And then we're just going to take, you can see it's just, there's paint on there, you can barely see it. And we're just going to drag it across the top layers of this model. So this is just dry brushing. Do it, it's okay. Dry brushing the model. We're going to give it a nice, just dry brush all the way across, right? Getting all those highlighted areas, all the raised areas. the reason we do this is because when we apply those contrast paints, it's going to give it a nice deep recess to hide the rest of that paint into. But it's going to take all of that difference going from that dark, that lighter side, how all those details are just popping out from the dry brush itself. I'm not worried about the base because I'm just going to repaint the base and actually put some decorations on the base. And I'm going to get it real thick on there. I'm going to get it nice and deep like with this dry brush. The more I think about it, the more I really want his belly to be really well accented, because his belly is actually a white. I'll probably end up going back over that belly with an ivory color. I'm gonna do his nails. Get it, girlfriend. Get them nails done. I really like that. Didn't hit all the little nooks and crannies. I got this tagged as Monster Hunter World, so I'm hoping that people don't just look at me painting a model and be like, oh no, it's not Monster Hunter World. What is this idiot doing? I'm actually painting the models from Monster Hunter World, the board game. Please, 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 if you're watching, give me a chance. This is actually really cool. It could actually get you into board gaming. So for my next 24-hour stream, I am doing board games that are based off of video games. And the reason I'm doing that is because there is a board game for everybody. There is a tabletop game for everybody. Right? I believe that tabletop gaming is a great way to sit down with friends and family and enjoy quality time together. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing video games with each other. You can do that digitally across the internet, but there's something different about sitting down with your friends and family at a table, having snacks, making conversation in person. You know, something that we haven't done in a long time. You'll look from black to this nice highlighted. And so I'm really happy doing this because I had promised my wife I was going to paint her zombicide models, and this is exactly how I'm going to paint her zombicide models with this Slapchop technique. Because what I wanted to do with her zombicide models was to paint the zombies themselves, like the old school Romero black and white old school zombies, like an old horror movie. So they would be in black and white, and all the characters, all the character models, and all the heroes would be in bold, like bold colors. And this is exactly how I want to do that, because this Slapchop method is fantastic. I don't know why I didn't think about this in the first place. What a very simple and easy way to get the model to look super cool and detailed. Hey, Cousin Renee, thanks for watching. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, please give whatever you're watching on a like, subscribe. Everything you do helps me promote the channel. And gets me great sponsors like the GA's Creative Company and Space Cadets Gaming. Both companies are owned by fantastic, loving members of the community that want to see, just like me, they want to see more families, more friends get together and play tabletop games. We have formed a coalition of the willing. People who want to play games, people who want to see others enjoy quality time together. So, all I've done is dry brushed this mini with a light gray from the black. Get in some of these spots. With a very light gray. And I gotta tell you, I am incredibly happy with how this came out. Slapchop technique is my new favorite technique. Boom, baby. Now that he's been completely dry brushed with that very light gray, I am going to dry out the dry brush. And we are going to do it one more time. But this time, we're going to use a bold white, bold titanium white by Pro Acryl, Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl line. I'll be using this to do the very big edges, highlights. I won't be going as hard on this dry brush as I did with the light gray, because this is going to really bring out the top edgings. Right. And I'm not going to use too much paint. Because we're just doing a very light dry brush. And this is just because there's light gray everywhere else. I'm just going to lightly go over all those areas that I know when I want to concentrate more of the color in. And we do this because it's just like edge highlights, right? So we put this white over the gray. So that when we put that contrast paint on there, it's going to see that white, allow it to shine through more with the transparency of the contrast paint. And you know what? I didn't clean this model at all. Normally when you paint miniatures, you'll want to clean them up a bit, make sure that there's no mold lines visible, make sure that you're not going to get a lot of flash from where the models were popped out of their molds. But these Steamforged miniatures, you can barely see the mold lines on them. Like, even if I wanted to clean them up, there would be very little work for me to clean up. But now we're going to move on to the washing portion. So these new paints that I have are from, like, again, Crystallarium. They're made right here in Houston, Texas, by a local vendor, a guy that I've seen around the local gaming scene for the past 20 years. Gotta be 20 years. At least 15. At least 15 years. He made them. I don't know how he made them. He bottled them. He showed me miniatures that he painted himself with his paints, using just the paints, and then using like the paints and other contrast paints and regular paints. So the Great Jargus, it's just a big green lizard. That's how I'm going to paint them. These are supposed to work just like contrast paint, so I'm just going to slather it. Oops. Like a bit of contrast paint onto all the areas I think need it. We're going to start with this side of the monster. Off my brush and just working just like he said it would. paint his other viney bits. So it's very watery, which really isn't an issue right now. That just means that it's going to flow well. I don't like that there's a lot of bubbles. I'm really hoping those bubbles don't stick around. Don't I can just pop them. Paint all of his scaly bits. And he did tell me that this is going to take a few coats, so I am prepared to do a few coats. So I have 2 different color paints out so that I can work with the different colors that I have to work with. Matt Faridas, thanks for liking the stream. Over there on Facebook. So these are more like a glaze. I'm liking it. Back. Got this orc skin peridot. We're going to try it out as well. And for majority of the body. Painting that up. I do gotta say, I was very surprised at how fast the game came in upon being notified of shipping. Originally, they had told me that it was going to be here on Thursday. I got my email on Friday. Watch out. Game will be in on Thursday. And then over the weekend, it said, hey, just kidding, it'll be here on Monday. So fortunately, I already had the day off. So I patiently waited. When my doorbell rang, boom, off like a flash. So this is the first time I've ever tried using the Slapchop technique, and I think it is the bee's knees. Super easy to do. I'm just applying the contrast paint liberally and dragging it. And I knew going into it that it was probably going to take a couple of coats, but I really like what it's done for the aesthetic of the model, giving it tons of different high and low points, natural shading and highlights. Got these two different tones of green. Means that I can go back in and blend and shade them accordingly. I really feel like it's giving me the look of what the video game Great Jargus looks like naturally with this painting technique. The paints themselves have great pigmentation. For what they're supposed to be doing. See what the creator was going for, and it's doing just that. It's a very nice mix between a glaze and a contrast paint. So again, I knew I would have to be going back and doing multiple coats of the colors, but that's really not an issue, number one. And number two, giving me this really cool blending that I normally can't achieve with just the brushes. So this is one coat. Oh, missed the leg. Ooh, missed the entire half of the body. Come on, Ramirez. Definitely do like how this slap chop technique has made him look very natural. Number one, that's attributed to the quality of the miniature itself from Steamforge. claw colors on there. Probably just wash them with a shadow wash. Get in here. Yeah. The little guy just needs to be giving a little bit of time to dry off so I can apply another coat. I don't think that's going to be happening this stream. I am. Throw some. Joe, thanks for joining the stream. Okay. Yeah, so these paints work much more like a glaze than a contrast paint. They're fairly opaque, but I like what they're doing, right? I just needed to dry once more. Probably do another dry brush of white. The edges of these grassy bits. Do love what it did to his mouth. Of course, I'll have a few pictures of these up on my Facebook. And this is just the first one. The game comes with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 gigantic uh, monsters. This one actually being the smallest. So I'm very excited to see what the rest of them look like. How they're going to come out once I paint them. And then the color schemes for some of the other really cool larger monsters. Like the Azure Rathian or the Black Diablos. I'm very interested in painting that Black Diablos with this Slapchop method. Derek, if you're out there, the creator of these Crystallarium paints, I like what you've done. I see what you're doing. I'm going to continue to use them. Those would be very nice. Very nice. I think they've done my little more. So as a glaze, this looks really good on the white portions. I can actually make it blend, which isn't something I can normally do with just regular wet paints. It takes a lot of effort. Very little effort on blending with the. Ta-da! And I think that it looks very much like a great Jargus from the video game. Slapchop method for the win. I'll be using the Slapchop method on a majority of my future projects because it's that good. I like it. The great Jargus from Steamforged Games, Monster Hunter World, the board game. Painted up. Like I said, I'll do another coat of those glazes and post it up on my Facebook page. I will definitely be using the Slapchop method more often. And switch. Whoop. Looks phenomenal. And I can't wait to show you all the rest of what we're doing. So, thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back next Monday and possibly this Saturday, the 18th, for some solo play of the new Tiny Epic Vikings. So keep your eye on my Facebook page and my TikTok. I'm on TikTok. So take a look at my TikTok page as I post my painting progression pictures and then all of my little projects that I'm doing with tabletop gaming. And then I know that I spoke about it before, but I am developing my own tabletop board game. Not quite ready to tell you what it is or the theme and all that stuff, but be prepared because it's going to be a fantastic party game. And I can't wait to share it with everybody. So thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. I love you very much, and walls ahead.